Well, good morning. This is day 4. The tent survived. The wind kept coming, and it rained a little bit. And I think I'm in the clouds right now. I got to get out of here. This is crazy. I don't know if you can see. This is the view out of my tent right here. I'm gonna put my sleeping bag, my quilt in my backpack, because it's dry inside here, just a little moist. But if I touch the top of the tent, I get wet. So anyway, so I got to somehow get stuff packed up, and I got to get down in the trees off the top of this thing, because this is ridiculous. It's not cold, it's windy, and it's damp though, and I got to get out of here. I'm so thankful the tent or the tarp did not, one of the key stakes did not pull out. I was praying for that, just like I pray for people, and it held tight. I'm super thankful for that. So breakfast, I'm going to get a couple bars. I'm going to stick them in my backpack, and I'm going to get down. I have basically all my clothes on, so I'll do all my official changing once I get down lower. I have about 3/4 of a liter of water when you put it all together, and that needs to get me to about 5.5, maybe 6 miles, because I got to get down to the main trail. Anyways, so that was just weird last night. I slept pretty good off and on, but man, when that wind hits the tarp, the whole thing just shakes and starts slapping around. So, all right, my neck's starting to hurt. Whatever. Talk soon. Bye, on. This is what I'm looking at, guys. This is insane. There's a truck behind me. These guys drove up. They're trying to get out of here. That's my tarp. Got some rocks there holding that on. Rocks holding. I don't know if you can see that, but that's my other stake. The other one's solid. This thing is just remarkable. I don't know where these guys think they're going, but all right. So that's the last video till I actually get out of here. See, what does it look like inside here right now? Yeah, I just got all my stuff strewn in here. I'm going to take my strategy. I'm going to take the tarp off as quick as I can. And I'm just going to shove everything in the pack. Tarp's going to go in a plastic bag because that's wet. All right. Whew, let's go. All right, so the hike begins. Got to go back down this. Got to make sure I don't miss the trail. That'll put me right back on the PCT. Should just take me, I don't know, max 10 minutes to actually hit it. I don't know how anybody. There were some guys up here 4-wheel drive. Clearly, though, they were not. Well, nah, that couldn't. I can't imagine that's them. That's got to be the people from last night. Anyways, a little bit of a ravine right there. So yeah, that's probably one of the sketchiest nights that could have potentially gone very wrong. I had my headlamp in my chest pocket in case I needed to race outside to, get the tent back up. It's just, oh man, so thankful that didn't happen. So I was really in a spot for a campsite last night. It was just, but man, the view was awesome. It's incredible. I was hoping this morning it wouldn't be foggy and we would get just an epic view of all the mountains in the morning and see a sunrise. But I'll just picture that in my head for right now. All right, so I'm going to focus on this until I get on the PCT. Hike on. All right, so I'm not quite on the PCT. I'm still on this dirt road. I mean, this dirt road's connected to another dirt road, blah, 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 blah. But the notes in Guthook tell me that yeah, this is the way to go, so you don't have to backtrack, kind of a thing. So, if it wasn't so foggy, I would have liked to take the other backtrack, because I would have some really nice views, but not right now. So it's definitely not raining. It's just foggy right now. It's not really cold, but I've got a lot of layers on, so maybe it'd be colder if I took some off. But see, I left camp actually like right at 7:30, which is shocking. And then this took me a little longer than I wanted to. Nature call and all that kind of thing, which is good, but You know, it's wet, damp, not optimal. So man, I've just entered in this really spooky forest right now. Look what I'm just walking in this thing. Woo! So that's gonna go, I don't know, quarter of a mile, something like that, and then I'll hit the main trail. Probably switch out my clothes. Might take out my rain skirt. Don't know yet. That way I can keep my shorts all dry. My feet are completely wet. Just walking through the weeds and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Brace the suck, huh? Hike on. So I haven't hit the trail yet, but I've dropped below the fog line. But you can see it's just like right above me. It's kind of moving through the trees. It's like I might go into it again and then go back out. It's kind of cool. So it'd be great if I descend below the fog. If that happens, it'll be a nice hike. Not a whole lot of views. Well, I guess I'll be able to see what's below the fog, but it'll be much more pleasant of a hiking experience. So we'll see. So now I got to figure out which way to go here. I think the PCT is like right here somewhere. There's a red flag. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to find it. All right, so that is the trail right there. That comes up. That's where I would have come. And you can see there's a little bit of a trail right here. And I checked the map, and it's weird, but it goes between these two roads right here. So I checked, got a hook in. I have 4.2 miles until the water, which is awesome. Not 5.5. I'm about 3,300 feet right now, something like that. And I gotta go down to 26, so it's gonna be downhill. So I should be okay with the water. So I'm gonna have a breakfast bar and maybe a fatty beef stick right now. I'm not sure yet. But time to eat some food. I only have a half a liter of water, so I don't have a whole lot of water, but it should be fine. I'm not changing out my clothes yet. It's still a little too damp and stuff like that, and I'm comfortable walking with everything on right now. Hike on. Well, this actually got 3.3 miles to the water. Feels a little cooler right now. Wind's blowing. Occasional drop right just from the trees. So I've not switched out my clothes, and I'm not going to do that just yet. If you like fog in a dense forest, well, you're gonna love this hike. The really sad part about this is that, you know, there's some really nice views and I can't see anything. I've been walking through a clear cut now for a while. I can't believe they clear cut around the PCT. Hope they did that years ago, but like, you know, my right lens of my glass is partially fogged up. We just crossed a gravel road and I couldn't see where the trail was. You know, I had to take out my phone. Yeah, did talk to a guy in a car right was gonna cross the road right when I was. He said, yeah, pretty nice view from right here and you can see it. I'm like, oh, that's great. I said, what are you guys doing here? So, we're bear hunting. I said, there's bears up here? I haven't seen any evidence. He says, they've only seen one the entire season. He said last year there were bear all over here. So he says, they don't know. That's the way it is. But yeah, this is definitely an exposed area. And I have not dropped down. I keep going up. So there's going to be one heck of a drop here at some point. I got to drop like at least 1,000 feet to get to the water now. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Nothing. Wow. I mean, this is what I'm seeing. This is the reality of it. It's wet. Not cold, but when the wind blows, you know, you can feel it. Everything's wet now. It's sweating. glasses have cleared up, so that's cool. But there's a rider up there. And I don't know if I can take 3 days of this. I mean, basically you see nothing but the trail. That's what you see. And I'm on what's called Table Mountain right now. So, which means, you know, there's just super cool views all around right here. It just drops. All I can tell, it just drops. You see? It just drops. Yeah. Wow. Well, I just met those two guys that I passed yesterday that like took my campsite and why I walked another few miles. And there was another gal, an older gal, just going solo by herself that's going north. She says she's kind of a little wacky. She said, yeah, I watched so many hiking videos during the pandemic. I said, I got to go hiking. Her friends think she's crazy. So anyways, you can tell it's cleared up a little bit right now. I have just a little bit further till I get to the water source. I could have stayed with those guys, but I said, you know, I think I need to fill up my water. I'm not even thirsty right now, and that's just that's not right. You know, I should be thirsty. So I'm gonna power down the water and just see how I feel. I'll tell you, when it's foggy like that and I can't see, it's really hard. It's really hard for me. I mean, I don't want to hike. So what I'm concerned about is as we go to Mount Hood, that it's going to be like that and I won't even be able to see Mount Hood. So I'm thinking, like, why even do that? So I don't know. When I get to Cascade Head, I'll call Gabrielle and Katrina and we'll kind of figure out what we actually want to do. I mean, it's really nice right now. It's kind of cool and just walking. But I see fog in front of me, so if it broke, it would be really, really nice. And it was just supposed to be, you know, partly cloudy today. So that's what those guys said. So they were really surprised by it. So yeah, hike on. No, it's really weird, but it's been a tough day, but I feel really, really empowered for some reason. Not so bad when you're walking through the forest. It's not foggy. And it's really not that wet right here either. It looks like it hasn't rained or anything. And it's really pretty. What amazes me the most is my mood swings. It's really hard. Usually I'm a pretty even keel kind of person, but now you get me on the trail and something happens. All right, so just about 11 o'clock. I have about 9.5 miles left, which means I've already hiked 5.5. So I have, add those two together. What I've come to discover is that my trail math sucks. Because I thought, based on yesterday especially, I was going to have less than 10 miles. I was just going to whiz into town, just relax, pretty much the whole day, take what they call a Nero, which is not a 0 day, but close. So I'm pretty much going to have a full day of hiking today. But I still should get in the early afternoon. That's be really good. Yeah, so when I get there, as soon as I get there, I'm going to call Gabrielle and Katrina, kind of sync up, see where all three of us are at on the whole trip. Make sure Gabrielle still wants to do it. I'll do it based on what I'm seeing. You know, I can see across the valley now, the gorge. And, you know, the fog is up high. I actually see some blue skies. So, I mean, I can take, you know, maybe a day or two of that fog, but man, that is just demoralizing for me. Now, Gabrielle's going to be with me, so we can be talking all the time. So you have the camaraderie there, so I can take a lot of bad weather. But it will really be nice to get in that hotel tonight because I'll be able to dry stuff out. I mean, everything is basically damp or wet right now. I mean, everything. So that's just because of the crappy site I was camping at last night in terms of, weather. It was great for the view. It was just, spectacular, but crud, the wind was howling, man. I thought oh God, I am so thankful that one of those stakes didn't come unhooked. I mean, I had them in there really good. I used rocks, doubled them up with some rocks in some cases because I knew it was going to be windy, but I didn't think it was going to be that windy with the mist and everything. I think I found like the best spot I could have there because, man, I could hear the wind like whipping over my head last night. I think one reason I'm really tired and kind of highly emotional today is because I really didn't sleep that well last night. In terms of warmth, I'm really, really warm, and I feel good. Yeah, I get a little chill sometimes, but I think that's just me, because everything's good on that end. So I think that's about it. Yeah, hike on. See that? That's the sunshine on my face. I feel so much already. This is one of the, gotta be careful here, it kind of drops down. One of the first real views of the day, other than the creepy forest views. Yeah, kind of see the trail there, it looks really nice. So, I'm not sure what ravine that is down there. But, yeah, it's pretty. So this is what I just walked across. You see the power lines up there. And remember I crossed some power lines? If you look close, you can actually see a trail at the top of that hill. I suspect I went around that and it was just howling, foggy. And what I couldn't see, it's just all of this. So now I get to see it in some blue sky. Very nice. I love this kind of trail. Very nice. And up above me here, there's some very gorge-like rocks just sticking straight up. That hurts my neck looking up there. I've been thinking more about yesterday and the whole camping situation. Sure, I'll think a lot more about it too, because I think there's some lessons there. One of the things I've learned at the PCT is that, it's a heavily traveled trail. And I'm actually in the time of the year where there's hardly anybody on the PCT. And even I was planning, after a long hike, longer than I expected, I couldn't camp. I mean, there's no place for me to camp. It was a replant from a clear cut, and there's just nothing flat. And to top that off, I had the water. I filled up a bunch of water before, and so I had a water issue as well. So I had a water issue, a camping issue, all combined. It was kind of like a perfect storm is what happened. I mean, it turned out okay. Everything was fine. But you got to be super, super flexible. It makes me wonder. I talked to this guy on the Tahoe Rim Trail, the guy that just scared the crud out of me about the PCT, the desert. If you saw that clip. But one thing that he did, he had a cot. He had an ultralight cot. And so he could just, wherever he wanted to, as long as it's kind of flat, it could be on rocks, he could set this thing up, and then he could just camp. I'm thinking that would have been like perfect yesterday. I could have camped all over the place if I would have had that. There would have been no issues whatsoever. I'd only have to deal with the water issue, which really was not an issue. You just had to think about it and plan it. So now just imagine if there was hundreds or thousands of people hiking around this trail at the same time, trying to find a tent spot. That could be really, really tricky. So I don't know, things to think about. I'm sure there's a lot for me to unpack from last night, and I'm just beginning. But that's good. One of the reasons I'm doing this hike is to learn not only about my body, but just hiking long distances and things like that. So I'm not really even sure what I'm looking at here. I'm looking across the gorge. 84, I think, is down there. I can hear cars and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know where Mount Hood is in all of this. Could be behind some clouds. I could just be too low. Just not sure, but it's really nice. The barometer is dropping. It's starting to drop today, I've noticed. Just crossing a footbridge here. One of these seasonal streams. It's still got a little bit of water flowing through it. Kind of nice to go over those sometimes. I'm gonna hit another one in a little bit, which is supposed to be really nice. Just make sure I'm going the right way here. Yeah. You know, when they have bridges like that, it tells me that in the springtime, those things just must be gushing. That'd be amazing to see. Well, I'm cruising down the trail here, and I just passed, that was Greenleaf Stream or River, whatever, and this is Greenleaf Lake. You can see why it's called Greenleaf. It looks pretty skanky, but the water looks clear though if I look down into it. So I saw this from up above before we dropped down into this. It's really dry right now. I'm actually at 700 feet, so dropped quite a bit today. And you can really tell this must get really hot in the summer right here. Everything's kind of just shriveled up and done for the year. Well, I think that's Bonneville Dam, or at least one of the dams right down there. Yeah. See traffic on 84 moving. Cool. I just decided to turn around and look and see what was behind me. No, I'm not joking. Look at this. I don't know if I was hiking around that or what, but that is amazing. Talk about just an environmental difference in the trail and the scenery. I mean, this is just weird now. It's hot out, and these rocks are really hard to hike on. They're just the wrong size, so you don't want to step on them. So I actually hold my trekking poles because, you know, I need to focus on where to put my feet more than anything. Or you hit a rock and you roll. It's not fun at all. It's been like this for a while now. I don't see any end. It's almost like they put rocks on the trail. And I'm thinking, no, if I look around me, that's the kind of rock there are. So I sure hope they didn't put these big rocks on here, because man, it's really hard on the feet. Yeah, nice place for lunch here. Little waterfall. Let me see that, but it's a nice footbridge. The water is a good spot to fill up on some water right here. And I'm gonna just sit right there and relax. Let's see what kind of views we have up here. And this is what I'm talking. This is a little footbridge. Oh yeah, that's really pretty, isn't it? Nice shift in the day, that's for sure. I didn't expect to have lunch at a place like this. So for lunch today, I'm gonna have some electrolytes. Figure I need to get a bunch of those. So that's just powder stuff that I usually use for surfing and stuff. I really like those. And of course I'm gonna have some Fritos here. This is I have a whole new pack waiting for me for tomorrow. And boom, and I got the rest of my nuts, so I can eat all this stuff for lunch. So this should be really nice. I was sitting here, and all all of a sudden I smelled something. Thinking, you know what? I think it's my shoes and socks. So take them all off. They're damp. They're fully damp. So it's not too gnarly, but my feet though have not been like washed off or cleaned now in like multiple days. So there's a lot of funk in those shoes. Or the feet. So I got to get those in the water up, clean them off. All right, so I'm done with lunch, and it's like I have 3.5 miles till I hit the Bridge of the Gods, and then from what I've seen, you just walk over it and watch out for the cars. There's no special lane for anybody. So yeah, really nice lunch. Feel really good. Washed off my feet in the water, and that was really good. A really nice spot right here. So yeah, it's on the Bridge of the Gods, 3.5 miles. And then I'll give Katrina a call first and talk about the hotel situation, and then we'll go from there. Well, they call it Green Lake, and it makes sense. I wonder if that was a quarry. I don't know. Hard to tell. So the trail is, the environment, it just blows me away. I mean, I'm just, how much has changed. But I guess I was at 3,500, and now I'm basically at, I don't know, 700, I said. Now it says 500. So I've dropped 3,000 feet. So I guess that makes a difference. It feels like a desert out here right now. So I have been monitoring the barometer, and it's definitely dropping now. This morning it was at 30.03. Before lunch it was like, I don't know, 30.01. And now my watch says 29.99. So it's dropping. So yeah, I would say it's going to rain for sure this evening at this rate. Usually what I find is when it really starts dropping, like it's doing right now, that's like 6 hours, you're gonna see some rain. So by then everything should be set where I'm gonna stay tonight, and we can just take it from there. And I was just looking around me, just like how deserty this is, like I was saying. And I noticed, I said, you know, this is all clear cut, and they're replanting. But that's why it's a stinking desert. It's just, there's supposed to be big trees here, because it's just like out of place. You know, this shouldn't be here. It should be trees, like the trees right in front of me right here. So, yuck. All right, well, that was an important junction. If I would have took the wrong one, I would have ended up at Bonneville Dam instead of Bridge of the Gods. And so I'm good. Yeah, so it was dark, so that made everything a little more intense. Of course, it was really windy. It was blue. It was clear skies, stars, everything. Right, and it was gorgeous, and it wasn't cold. So what I needed to have no wind because of my alcohol stove. It works great in high altitude, low altitude, any kind of temperature, but wind is the kryptonite for that stove. So I needed to find a place that didn't have wind, and I remember I walked behind the radio tower earlier in the day, and the wind was really calm behind there. So I went there. I just kind of sat down on the gravel around there, leaned against the fence they had there. Real convenient, as I'm getting microwaved. But and there was some wind, so I did everything I could to guard from and all that. But what that meant was my normal allotment of alcohol, and I made a mistake. I didn't consider this. Was the water didn't come to a boil. It was super hot, but it hadn't come to a boil yet. So it doesn't need to come to a boil from like a germ perspective, because I put filtered water in there. It just needs, you know, it doesn't make any difference how hot it is. But I had macaroni and cheese, and what happened, the macaroni did not fully hydrate, so it was a little chewy. Okay, so what happened after a while of having the macaroni, I was getting tired of this chewy macaroni. So but I didn't get tired of all the cheesy sauce. So I basically just drank all the cheesy sauce. I did that not only because I like it, because there's a lot of water in that, and I was really thirsty. Remember, I had to conserve my water. The other thing I did was I wanted some electrolytes, so I got carried away and put too much electrolyte powder in there, thinking that's going to be a good thing. Well, my body didn't really like that intensity of electrolytes, so I could feel that. You got the intense cheese sauce. And then to top it off, I had a little bit of the Epic beef bar left over from the day, which I've been munching on. Super high protein, really good, kind of a peppery salt. It's just really nice. So I had a little bit of that, put that in my mouth, started to chew it. And that might sound kind of gross, but you know, when you put stuff in your mouth to chew, you know, your saliva naturally excretes and you can chew it up, right? Well, there was no saliva happening. So I had this mushy, pasty stuff in me, which was just, it was horrible, it was yuck. So I drank some water and I got that down and everything was good. Of course, I'm really close now. That's one of the trains. Anyway, so you had all that combination of stuff. So when I was done, I'm like, God, you know, I just want some peace, you know. So when I went to the tent and got in there, it was nice and cozy, and I told you about that. So yeah, so crazy dinner, lesson learned. There are a couple lessons, so that's good. That's good. Well, I don't have to be a complete freak yet, because I think the trail goes right across the road here. I don't go on the road yet. Yeah, here it is. Man. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Don't have to walk on Highway 14 here. Oh, nice. Getting a little anxious. So I'm getting really close. And I talked with the guy. It's about hiking stuff. He's just going north. And talked about the PCT for a little bit. It's really nice. At the Columbia River right there. Lots of water. That's a big river. So I'm just up above here, obviously. Coming pretty close. When I was talking to him, I asked him, hey, what's the protocol for the Bridge of the Gods? There really is no protocol. You don't pay, you just walk and, you know, watch out, kind of thing. Don't be stupid. So a really good talk just about resupplying and things like that on the PCT, and just like even here and Cascade Locks, hotel situation and stuff like that. So really nice, experienced guy. He's just gonna keep hiking as far as he can until he hits Canada, if he can. So I don't think he's in a super big rush, it looks like. Pretty relaxed guy. All right, well, I'm getting close. All right, so I just hit Highway 14, got a sign right here. I gotta figure out, there's the Bridge of the Gods sign right up there. All right, getting really close. I'm gonna cross here. I don't know how much this I'm going to be able to take, but here we go. Wow. All right. Woo! Check it out. The car, I'm gonna put it away here. This is supposed to be kind of freaky. I can't put that into words. Well, I just returned from going over that. That was really something. I think what was most interesting is that I kind of waved to people, and when I went by, just so they'd see me. I was going against traffic, and almost everybody waved back. It was really neat. So, yeah, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do tonight. It's about 3:30. I really hope I get cell coverage right now. AT&T sucks. But besides that, it's been quite a day. Yeah, quite a day. So I found a motel, like $99 including tax and everything. So the motel is called a Hotel of the Bridge of the God Motel, and it's very satisfactory. It's kind of nice actually. So I was really stoked about that. Found it was the first place I went into. I talked to Katrina, and we had three different options. So this was the first one I went into, and she said, like $89 or something like that. And I'm like, done. That's good. So I'm really happy about that. Everything's drying out really good. Even the tarp, which was really wet, I was able to just kind of go out back and open that thing up and just let it float in the wind, and it's almost completely dry. So everything is good. I lost one sock though. I thought I found it today, and so I didn't keep looking for the other one. So I probably have one of my darn tough socks sitting out there at the 3/4 at the 3,550 feet right now. So I'll check again. It might be in my stuff, but I'm pretty sure I don't. So I'll be okay with one pair of socks. I mean, they're going to be wet all the time anyway, so it's not going to make any difference. I do have my dry socks to sleep in, so that's good. So that's kind of weird. So the tricky part though is going to be making dinner. Because I need to light my alcohol stove somewhere, and I don't want to do it in the room. So I need to do that without causing a disturbance and all that. So I'll probably go out after dinner just to have a beer somewhere. It's Cascade Locks. It is a neat little place. I tell you, if you haven't been here, this is the first time I've actually been here, other than volleyball tournaments for high school, and I never remember this part of town. And it's a really cute little place. It's super neat. So. Anyway, so that's it for right now. I'll give you an update a little bit later. So I'm really happy, very relaxed. I found a place. I talked with Gabrielle. She's up for the whole thing. It's going to snow a couple inches at Timberline Lodge tomorrow or Tuesday. That should be melted by the time we hike there. So we are going into a potentially kind of risky situation, but we're going to be together. So together, we can do anything backpacking. I'm totally convinced. So I still haven't figured out my mileage yesterday. I'm going to do that and do some research on ultralight cots as well. But I'll follow up with you on that. So on with the hike. How about let's on with relaxing for a while and a good night's sleep. Hike on. How about sit for a little bit? Okay, so I'm at this new beer place called Thunder Island, and it's in where I'm at, Cascade Locks. And I just noticed they have a thing called Trail Magic right here, where you can basically pay for a pint of a thru hiker. Is that cool? Never heard of something like that before. Oh, I gotta get my order. So it's a pretty nice view out here. But you notice how dark the clouds are? Yeah. I'm glad I'm not back there right now. Of course, behind me is the Oregon clouds, and those probably look about the same. Yeah. Thanks. I'm kind of laughing. Not really. So for dessert, I opted for a surprise with my beer. Well, good night. This is the end of day 4. Today ended up being about, I think it was about 14 miles. I am really bad at mileage navigation on the trail. So I keep revising the numbers all the time. So I literally thought it was going to be less than 10 miles today. And I'd get here, no problem. Get here by noon, relax, No, it was a full 14 miles. I got here about 3 o'clock or so, and then I found this really great, like $99 or $97 hotel or something like that. It was just very adequate. So everything is clean and dry. I mean, everything was damp or dirty, something like that. Everything was just, some stuff was stinking wet, had dirt all over it and stuff like that. So I was able to get all that stuff cleaned up. So that was really good. That's the good news. Everything's totally dry. Bad news is I lost one sock. So I got 3 socks now. And I remember last night I said, oh yeah, I can't find the other sock. And then I found another sock in, where I was sleeping. I thought, oh good, I found the other sock. No, it was actually the one sock I did have. So I did not check for it this morning, and it's probably sitting right outside, and I didn't get it. So I was thinking, well, should I even bring that? I'm like, well, yeah, I just feel weird with 2 socks because something goes wrong with one of those. I mean, you're messed up. Anyway, so I'm going to have 3 socks. That's a new one. Everything else is going to plan. All the equipment, everything is working really well. The rain is supposed to, it hasn't started raining here, but the rain is supposed to definitely happen Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be wet. It won't be cold, but it's going to be wet, and it's going to be challenging. So if Gabrielle was not like, hey, let's do this thing, it's going to be good, I would not do it. So, or solo. But with her, I think we can encourage each other, and I think we'll actually have a lot of fun, even though it likely will be very challenging. And we'll have to make a decision probably like Tuesday night whether we want to go for the whole thing to Timberline, or whether we want to turn around and come back to Cascade, or to Cascade Lock, where we're at right now. Because once we hit the Wednesday, I mean, we got to go to the Thursday to Timberline. There's supposed to be some snow there tomorrow and Tuesday, just a little bit. We're talking maybe this much. And then the temperature, goes back up on Wednesday, so it should be gone. It's not. But still, though, the prospect of being a little bit of snow and stuff like that is a little unsettling for me personally. The fact that I have a tarp and I think it has to be set up like perfectly and in the rain, but possibly, so that's gonna be a challenge for me. So I am concerned about that, but I'm really excited to be hiking with Gabrielle. That can turn like an okay, scary situation into something actually pretty fun. That sounds really weird, but that's actually pretty true. So, but other than that, everything's a go. My body is doing really, really good. I'm tired. The other thing, I was at that restaurant having that beer, and then I was going to pay my bill, and the gal said, hey, it was like another one. These 2 guys, somebody said they would buy you another round. I'm like, well, no, I can't have two pints of beer. That'd fill me up, and I don't want that much beer. And I said, by the way, is it 2 guys that look like brothers? And she said, yeah. So it was the 2 guys I'd met on the trail. They said, hey, let's have a beer, we'll buy you a beer. And so I figured that must have been them. So before I came back to the hotel, I talked to them for a while. One lives in Montana, one lives did live in Ashland, and now in Seattle on the kind of coastern island or something like that. They spent a bunch of time growing up in Alaska. So, and they did the hike that I was actually thinking about doing, which was 146 miles or something like that from, I think, White Pass or something like that. But I told them, I said, well, there's no food. Where'd you get your food? I mean, I couldn't figure out how to resupply without going into Trout Lake. And they said, well, yeah, you're right. There is no. I said, you carried it all? They're like, yeah. I'm like, crud. So they got pushed on the edge. It rained 2-3 days hard on them. And I think they're a little bit older than I am. And it was really hard, they said, but it was a fantastic time. So this late season stuff it's hard. Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So that's about it for tonight. So I'm sure tomorrow will be a completely different experience when there's two of us doing these kind of things, it's always fun. It's always fun. And so you'll see completely different demeanor as we embrace the suck, so they say. Hey, so I forgot to give you my the day's stats. Besides the 14 miles, and I started at 3,500 feet, went down to basically zero. Well, not zero, actually 395 according to the watch here. So the stats are 31,000 steps. That's cool. And the calories are 3,115. So that's actually pretty cool too. That's nice that I have that. So I can't figure out the reason. I must have got the over 5,000 yesterday. I wonder if that's because basically just running on adrenaline. My heart rate must have been out, and I got extra credit for that. I don't know. All right. This is truly it for the night. Hike on.